Woo! Monday night. What is going on? Uh-oh.
I
We
was
have a
checking
special
some
phone call?
sources. I got some
Okay.
sources. I mean,
Oh,
I was just checking
please
them.
do. Please
mean,
do. Because if you heard this, hey John, you heard it here first.
yes, absolutely.
Gotta have fun with it. What's going on, everybody?
Uh,
Welcome to the 95 North Falcons talk show, man. I am joined by my friend and guest, John from OUTTA Falcon. Mine missing in action today is Mike, but Mike's doing his thing, man. Mike's somewhere where? In the Carolinas, you said?
yeah, he's making some money over in South Carolina, so he's
Good for him.
hopefully he'll pop. If he's back to the hotel, he'll probably pop it in the chat if he's got time, or maybe he's scouting out some places in South Carolina that he may want to check out tonight because we know how Mike does, but
Wild man Mike, man, but no doubt, no doubt. But John, man,
What
it's
a
been a
life.
long time, man. It's been a while
Dude,
since
it's
we got
been
to collaborate, man.
too damn
How you
long,
been?
buddy.
Yeah. So how's things, man?
Dude, things are great, buddy. I'm it's insanely busy. I guess by choice and also just by what's going on in like life right now. I don't have a lot of time to get on Twitter, which is kind of nice because I'll pop on, I'll see some just insane stuff, and I'm like, you know what, this is probably good that I'm not on here right now a whole lot. So, and I'll pop off. So, but yeah, it's going great, man. Baseball's kicked back up. This last season started on all this last weekend, so we were at the park until 11:30 p.m. on Saturday night. Had to get up and be there at 9:15 on Sunday morning. And so, yeah, so it's that time of year again. But man, everything's great, buddy. I have no complaints. How about you?
Man, everything's been wonderful, man. Just really busy, man. Just spring is, it's right around the corner. So of course, these projects come about. Got a new fence just freshly installed, man. So
Did you get
we're
it installed?
installing that.
Oh, okay.
It's done, man. The guys are done.
Okay.
There's some alterations that they have to make, but other than that, it's good and ready to go. We finally got the privacy that
It
we
was pretty
deserve.
fast.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it was pretty quick, man. And we had some weather up here and stuff like that, but they worked through it and couldn't be more satisfied, man. But yeah, it's just been busy. You know how life is, man. But we got to stop and talk a little bit about our Atlanta Falcons. I know you threw in the baseball thing as the Braves, are in spring training, and Chris Sale had a hell of an outing the other day. So we're praying he holds up and he becomes that dominant force that he was up here in Boston for the Red Sox, and he just trickles that into the Braves rotation. But Atlanta Falcons, buddy, we are a week away, or may I say just a few days, hours, minutes, God, who knows, from really shaping this 2024 season and really start pointing at, okay, this is the guy at quarterback or at a would-be position, but more importantly, the quarterback position. There's three guys at hand, very hot topic. The combine started last week. And the combine was great. A lot of great prospects. There are some superior positions at the combine this year, and then to some surprise, there was some lesser, and I mean by lesser, I mean like the linebacker position or for the combine itself in that regard wasn't as strong as it has been in years past, but that's something else. But the quarterback position, as we all seen, the J.J. McCarthy's of the world throw, the Bo Nix, the Michael Penix, of course, the Drake Mays, the top guys elected not to throw, which is expected, man. But currently, the talk of the town was Justin Fields to the Atlanta Falcons for only, I guess, hours into the combine, the biggest wrench of them all thrown in, and that's Kirk Cousins to Atlanta. You heard the rumbling more about Kirk Cousins to Atlanta. With all this, man, and now to throw his name in the hat, Russell Wilson recently got dropped by Denver, just making things a little bit more spicier and really just to the Falcons choosing. But before we get into that, into specific, how do you feel about those three guys, and whichever direction you want to go in, whichever order you want to talk?
Man, it's tough. I can see reasons why you would go each guy. I can see reasons why you wouldn't go each guy. You know what I mean? Like, and I don't fault anybody for wanting one of those over the other ones. Like and I mean, not to just I mean, I will answer. I get, oh, dude, it's just tough, man. It's because I
Mhm,
get the injury concerns with Kirk. And I go
mhm.
back to what Savion said on our show with it. We did about with quarterbacks. Savion Mixon. Shout out to Savion. He's a writer for the
Shout
Vikings
out.
Wire, and he said, Kirk is basically the perfect system quarterback, right? You're going to get exactly what you want out of that system, but you won't get anything more and you won't get anything less. So there's not going to
Yeah.
be any creativity outside the pocket, stuff like that.
Mhm,
So, um, but now I like Kirk if you're talking about bringing in, a Penix or somebody to sit behind him for a couple of years. You go take a quarterback in the second round, something like that. Cool. Um, Justin, Justin definitely has improved, since his
mhm,
rookie year, no doubt about it. What we've talked about on our show, man. You see folks that just clown on him all the time, and they've not watched a minute of it. And does he
mm.
make some mistakes? Absolutely, dude. They all do. They all do. But like, he's definitely getting better over these last. I mean, I saw a comparison to him and Lamar Jackson over the last 20 games. Super similar. Now, about
Yeah.
twice as many interceptions, or turnovers,
Mhm,
whatever you want to say. But I get, then you add basically an elite running quarterback. And I know he can throw. Let's not get it twisted. The man can actually throw if you watch the games.
sure.
But you add that element to the offense where somebody's got to account for him always. So that's another just, so I get that. Now the problem with Justin is I guess it's a good and bad, right? Silver lining is if he comes out and balls out, you're going to pay him in 2 years. It's not going to be cheap,
Yeah.
which is okay. But if he's balling out and we're winning, okay. I
Mhm,
mean, but been down that road before where you have to pay, but that's just the nature of the NFL these days, right? It's going to happen.
mhm. Right. It's gonna
And
happen.
then with Russ, Russ had a hell of a year last year before he got benched. I mean, he had ups and downs, but overall, 26 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, and if you get him on a vet minimum, I mean, like, and bring in a rookie, I'm okay with it. Like, I'm okay with it. I know some folks are deadly against it, but I mean, I wouldn't hate it. I mean, to be honest with you.
Yep.
So,
There's the
I mean,
stats right there for 2023, man. 26 and 8, man. You put those numbers on the Falcons this year, this Falcons is a
oh, we're in the
playoff team.
playoffs. Absolutely. Absolutely.
100%.
Yeah, I mean, and of course he's fallen off. He's not, but he's always, and people will question, can he work in that system? Because Russ's
Mhm,
whole thing is, like he, he gets outside the pocket. He gets, he's not necessarily the perfect system quarterback because he kind of does his own thing sometimes, but he's made a career out of it. So like, as long as he understands it, and bottom line is, dude, as many guys as Raheem has brought in that
mhm.
quarterback room and then the offensive side of the ball, like, if you got to believe they're going to do every bit of research, due diligence they're going to do on every single guy. They're going to have their number one, plan A, B, C, and D, however you want to do it. So if they're strong enough because they know how important this is, they know how important to get this right is.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if they're down, I'll give them my trust for this season.
Yeah.
What about you?
Yeah, so, I mean, to address the quarterback position, Justin, Russell, Kurt, in that order. With the Justin Fields situation, the way I see it is this is a young, rising star in the league that has, all the ability in the world. He's just been handed a bad deck of cards as far as, what he has around him, what he has had
Oh yeah.
around him, teaching, quarterback coach, positional coaches, you name it. He hasn't had, you know, a wealth of help in that regard. But you see the trajectory and where it's going, right? I think a lot of people can see him. You put him in an offense in Atlanta that features, of course, which we've already spoke so much about with the Pitts and the
Mhm.
Drake London, the Bijan, the Tyler. That's something to be scary, right? But what also is scary is a date that comes up in May, where it's this 5th-year option, and that's anywhere from 20 to 25 million.
Yep.
Are the Falcons gonna put all their eggs in one basket and say, yes, we're gonna pick that up? We're gonna put our full trust in it in Justin Fields. Wherever he goes is as far as we're gonna go. Are the Falcons content on doing that? You got an owner in Arthur Blank, 80 years of age, that, if I'm not mistaken, has already kind of, lean toward what kind of quarterback he has, and that's Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins comes into the league, he's a vet in his own right, of course, as we all know. But
Mhm.
before the injury, Kirk Cousins was up for Offensive Player of the Year, respectfully, All Pro, respectfully, 25 TDs to 8 INTs, a perfect system quarterback. And what folks don't understand about a perfect system quarterback is you got to do the homework, right? Zach Robinson, who's our offensive coordinator now, spent a lot of time with Kevin O'Connell. And remember, I said this in a tweet about a month ago when the rumbling started happening. It's like, if you look at it, yeah, Jesus Christ, you know what? It makes sense. Kirk Cousins to Atlanta makes sense. But the
Mhm.
hang up on it is A, the Achilles injury, 35-year-old quarterback coming off a significant injury as he sustained in week 8, and then the money that he may want. And I say may because we don't know exactly what Kirk Cousins is gonna command. There's numbers thrown here, there, and everywhere. Nothing's official. If nothing's coming right out of his camp, I don't really believe in what anybody has to say. It
Nope.
has to come right from his camp. And folks say, "Oh, 45 million. That'll really take us off the running of any, free agents that are out there." Yeah, there's a thing called structure and how you can, construct these contracts. Look at the Deshaun Watson situation. Cleveland knew, the crap that he was in. Hate to bring
Yep.
the name up, but what did he play for the first 2 years in Cleveland? For the first year for $1 million. Everything else was backloaded. Atlanta can visit something like that with Kirk Cousins if they feel like he's ahead in his recovery, and he will be there for week 1. Can Atlanta, construct a contract where it not only protects Kurt, but protects the team as well? Because that's a lot of money that's going to be tied up at one position, right? And at the stage, you know what? I hate to sound like I'm all over the place. I hate this for Atlanta right now. I really do, because Atlanta is in no position to make any mistakes at this moment. You
Right.
have so many teams vying for a quarterback. The Giants can flip the bet and say, "Hey, we're moving on from DeVito. How you doing?" And say, "I I want one of these quarterbacks." Right? Las Vegas Raiders could throw their hat into it. There's rumblings that Minnesota, of course, they may be losing out on Kirk Cousins. They may be interested in potentially a Russell Wilson or
Mhm.
a
Justin
Justin
Fields.
Fields.
Yeah.
So there's a lot. So Atlanta's in a very tough spot, so to say, man, because you have so many teams vying for this, all important position, the quarterback position. So, with Kirk, he seems like the most logical fit for this system
He
because of
seems like the
recent mention.
safest.
The safest, exactly.
Yeah.
Best word to use. You got your Zach and your Kevin O'Connell connection. Him being under Kevin O'Connell's offense kind of runs a variation of what the Rams run in Los Angeles. Zach Robinson is rumored to, and Raheem want to run that same style in Atlanta. So bingo,
Mhm.
there's a marriage there. So it makes sense. It's the safest one. Now you go on to Russell Wilson, decorated veteran, 35 years of age. Won a Super Bowl already, has all the accolades. Let's just say he was just in a bad situation with Sean Payton. I can't stand Sean Payton. He's an arrogant prick.
Nope.
So
Asshole.
yeah, pretty much, right? So
Yeah.
it's just like, he thinks that his system is, the next thing is sliced bread, and it hasn't been the case because you took a quarterback that was great and really made him not look as, a shell of himself, pretty much.
Mhm.
So with Russell Wilson now being available, that throws a wrench into the things as well, because that's a guy that you can get potentially on whatever is deemed to be a team friendly deal in Russell Wilson's regard. This is a guy that's 35 years of age, has been in the league for a while, has the resume to back him up. What's he going to settle for? Or what does he ultimately want? Does he even want to come to Atlanta? That's the other thing.
Yep.
That there's a lot with that. Wife being Sierra from the Atlanta area, of course, the whole hip hop scene with Future and stuff like that. That's a distraction waiting to happen. And in its own sense, this is a guy that's a very, God fearing man. He puts his family and God first. Does he want that sort of outside noise on a constant basis? Because, buddy, you live in Atlanta, you listen to those airwaves, and they are ruthless and relentless when
Hmm.
it's a hot topic. It's it's attack mode all day. So there's a lot of pros and cons with it, right? Uh, can you, by chance, or to the best of your ability, give us a pro and con for each one of the quarterbacks mentioned that is or soon to be available?
Yeah, man. I mean, like I think we just said it for Kirk. The pro is he's safe. Like you know what you're going to get. And like you said, those numbers before he got hurt, dude. I think it's a 103 rating too. Like just like just stupid good. Like he was literally on an All Pro MVP pace before he got
Man,
hurt. So that's safest pro for Kirk. He's going to give you
mhm,
what you want passing wise out of the offense. The negative is, yeah, I mean, the negative, he's not going to give you anything else. Like, he's not going to be able to run. He's not going to be able, and yeah, I mean, I said on our show a few weeks ago, I don't have a huge concern about the Achilles because very rarely in sport do you see a guy blow the same Achilles twice. I mean, it's, you know, it can happen, but it's not the most common thing in the world. You know, I mean, he looked pretty good throwing the other day. He looked pretty good dancing on stage there at the on ESPN. So, like, you know, it looks like it's healthy. But that's probably the negative. For Justin, the pro is the opposite, man. You another weapon. Like, you know, you have his legs. You know, yeah, I don't think he's reached his peak yet. Like you said, I mean, he was surrounded with literally nothing in Chicago for his first year. They improved slightly his second year, but not really. The offensive line was still garbage. You know, Darnell Mooney was his best target. You know what I mean? And, like, no, not really a good running game. Now this year, you give him DJ Moore, you give him Cole Kmet. You know, he's got a little bit better offensive line, and you see progress, right? So I mean, and that's you know, when folks throw wins out there, I don't care who you're talking about, whether it's Desmond Ridder or Justin Fields. Like, wins is not a quarterback stat, man. That is a team stat. You know, it's like, it's
100%.
They can, of course, they're going to affect it. You know, and but I mean, they can't do everything, so they have to have those pieces around them. So the negative on Justin is the I guess the not knowing factor, right? The unknown, because you're betting on potential, just like you would be with a rookie quarterback. But with a rookie quarterback, you know, you've got that extra time. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to pay that guy. So you're betting on potential now, and you have to pay him real quick. So that's the scary part about Justin. And then Russ, man, I mean, you saw what the pros were last year in an offense. I don't think he was comfortable running anyway. He just, you know, Sean Payton wants Drew Brees. Like, he wants that reincarnate of Drew Brees in that offense, and that's just not how Russ plays. Yeah, no, exactly. Right. So, you know, it was a bad fit. I mean, and Zach Robinson, man, he was a mobile quarterback himself in college. He wants an athletic type of. I don't think he wants a statue back there. I think he prefers like an athletic type of guy. Yeah. So that's a plus on Russ. Negative, Russ isn't great throwing across the middle of the field, which is, if you watch a lot of Ram stuff, I mean, they run a lot of digs. It's similar to Arthur Smith's offense.
Very good point.
But it's ran so much better. Like,
more efficient.
Spacing's better. I mean, like, they do a ton of motion in their passing game, pre-snap motion. So, like, can he do it? Yeah, probably, but, like, that's not necessarily his game. So that's kind of a negative on Russ. And again, it's like, you know, the older factor, a little bit slower, a little bit less, you know, in the tank, you know. But again, if you're talking about, if he's mentioned he's willing to play for a vet minimum, since he's getting paid what, $37 million this year by the Broncos,
million, man. Yeah.
I'll take him on a vet minimum every day and bolster every other possible thing I can. Go get my rookie quarterback, sit behind him, and, you know, if that's the case, you know what I mean, and see what we can do. You know, I would have no problem going down that road.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. And before I get into mines, man, let me shout out the chat real quick, man. The chat is active. It is Liam is in the building.
What's up, buddy?
But yeah, what's going on, buddy? Rishi Mohan is in the building. Justin Jefferson, one or ATL Cousins with the U grill. Oh man, King Atlanta supporter, what is going on? Falstaff Falcon is in the house. What's happening, man? Let's see, Carrie, excuse me. Oh man, my accent. Carrie, what's going on? How you been? All ball is well. Witches, she's in the house. George Johnson is in the house. Bellows World is in the house. Miss Lisa Shepard is in the house also tonight, man. Really appreciate everybody taking the time to join myself and John talking this Falcons football. Folks, you see the ticker on the bottom, and if you haven't subscribed to the 95 North Falcons talk show out of your Falcon mind, please do so. The links are both available at the top of the comments. We would greatly appreciate it. Also, please run up the likes as you come in and out. We greatly appreciate that. Travis Preston is in the building. RJ ATL Life. The plug is in the house.
What's up, buddy?
Our very opinionated friend of the show, William Amy, is in the house. Love William, man. William always has a good thought or two, man. King Atlanta. Speaking of friend of the show, Mr. Wallace, stay in your lane. Smith, he'll get at you. He'll put you right back in your lane. I love that about Wallace, man. Ryan is in the building. Oh, man. Man, there's a 10K subscriber up in there, 10,000K plus subscriber in the
Oh,
building. Man, we're being noticed by him. We must be doing something right. Shout out to
I mean,
Smitty,
what
Smitty
up,
Sports
Smitty?
Machine. What's going on, Smitty? He's in the building. Dirty Bird Dining, Playboy Darian. What's going on, brother? How you doing,
What's
man?
up,
Hope
brother?
all's well with you, man. Thank you for joining the stream this evening. Chris Money Sign 41 is in the excuse
What's
me,
up, Chris?
541 is in the building. What's happening? A1 Forever, Chris Tip Moore is in the house tonight, man. The very
Chris,
lovely
baby, what's up, buddy?
Joy, Blink and Stitch. How
Joy, what's
you
going
doing,
on?
Miss Joy? This young brother right here, Brandon Wiggins, have had a lot of back and forth with him. Very, very open lines of communication. I would love to get this young man on the panel one day so we can talk to him
Love it.
some Falcons football, man. That's what it's all about, man. Collaborating in good space,
Mm-hmm.
man. He's had some wonderful things to say and add on the comments under some of my previous videos. Definitely appreciate all of that, man. Let me see who else is in here. T. Terry is in the building. Mini 95 North is in
What's
the
up, Alex?
building. Justin Swisher Sweets is in the building. Oh boy, that Desmond Ritter name. We'll touch on that in a little bit. Boy, the list goes on and on. Reggie 2K, Bobby Corral, Mactown Dirty's in the building. Atlanta
What's up,
Dog
my town?
88. Appreciate everybody taking the time. So we're talking about this quarterback situation for the Atlanta Falcons. John just gave an amazing breakdown of pros and cons. I'm going to give you mine real quick, and I'm going to start from the two veterans over then to Justin Fields. Russell Wilson and Kirk Cousins. One's the safest, one's the cheapest, and I think Brandon Wiggins in the comment made that, and I agree 100%. The safest is Kirk, cheapest will be Russell Wilson. But
No doubt.
other than the monetary portion of it, what do bringing in a Kirk Cousins or a Russell Wilson offer for Atlanta is the possibility of still being aggressive in the NFL draft this coming year, right? So the notion is we're at 8, but there is rumors that we may trade up as high as 3, high as 4. I've even seen some mocks where we trade with the Chargers at 5,
Yep, same here.
depending on how the scale of these top tier quarterbacks fall. We don't know. I know one thing's for sure. Somebody in the top 5 is going to mess up a pick where they're going to take somebody possibly that doesn't belong in the top 5 and allow somebody to drop. It happens almost every year. Hanging
Mm-hmm.
our head on that it will happen, and maybe a Drake May or Jaden Daniel falls. Those are the two that I prefer, but that's just me. But bringing in Russell Wilson or Kirk Cousins allows you that. What it also allows you is to be BPA at 8. There's a lot of defensive talent in this year's draft. There's
Sure is.
there's a lot of good versatility when it comes to these edge and defensive edge defenders. Cornerback is another deep position in this NFL draft this year. Wide receiver is another one. So you cannot
A
be
ton of
upset at
talent.
the Atlanta Falcons if they stay at 8 and they take a Roma Duzier or a Malik Neighbors to pair with a Russell Wilson or a Kirk Cousins. Can't. You
Nope.
really can't be upset at that. But what that does allow you to do is in the back end of the draft, the possibility of trading back from 2 back into the first round. You got to remember the Falcons have some ammo to work with, right? You got the
Mm-hmm.
number 1 pick, you have the 47th pick, which is the second round, and you have 2 third-round picks, one pending to be elevated to a second-round pick, but that hangs on Jacksonville's monetary thing with Calvin Ridley if he's
Yep.
resigned. But we'll keep it as it is right now. They have 2 number 3s, a number 2, and a number 1, right? You can package something where you can trade back into the first round, a la what they did in 2019 to draft Caleb McGarry with the 31st pick, where they traded with the Rams. Michael Penix has seemed to elevated his status in this NFL combine, throwing measurables, you name it.
All the medicals,
It's
past
there.
medicals. Yeah.
Passing medicals. I know that the red flags, as you mentioned, the medicals and stuff like that. Yes, he had 2 seasons where they were ended prematurely due to
Mm-hmm.
season-ending injuries, right? And you hate that for anybody. Of course, a guy like Michael Penix who has all the makeup in the world, right? But then there's also this, the national championship game against John Harbaugh and that vaunted Michigan defense that really kind of exploited him. But having a Russell Wilson or Kirk Cousins allowed you to take a page from what the Green Bay Packers did with Jordan Love and allow that rookie to sit and really learn the nuisance of what the quarterback position is, how to study it, how to attack it, how to prep for it. That's the benefit that I see with going the Russell Wilson or the Kirk Cousins route. You're not giving that opportunity so much with Justin Fields.
Correct.
Because if you sign Justin Fields, you know you're going to be giving up a second rounder at most.
Mhm.
The most is a second rounder. So now you're thinking just BPA at 8, and that's pretty much it, right? I doubt that deep into the second round, you're gonna have a guy available like a Michael Penix. Then the names of Bo Nix, JJ McCarthy come into play. Spencer Rattler comes into play. I think it's a little too early for Jordan Travis out of Florida. He might be a name in later in the rounds. But
Mhm.
if you really want to rectify the problem and elevate that quarterback room, it's a solution where getting Russell and Kurt allow you to take that quarterback of the future. Not so much with Justin Fields. What Justin Fields allows you to do also is take that BPA at 8, whether that be a Dallas Turner, an offensive lineman of the future, another wide receiver, or it can give you the ability to trade out, which is something the Falcons haven't done. We
Yep.
finished with the 8th pick, the last 3 or 4 years, and we've stayed there BPA. Could this be a year, if we acquire Justin Fields, that we finally trade out of the top 10 to really build on, other aspects of this Falcons team? What do you think, John?
Yeah, it's possible because I mean the Broncos are at 9, right? They're right behind us.
Uh,
So
no, the Bears are right behind us
the
at 9
Bears,
again.
yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, dude, it's possible that a team like say we do take Justin and you know we move back a couple of spots, and pick up
Mhm.
more picks. You know what I mean? Because like you said, dude, the edge rushing class is deep.
Yeah.
The offensive line killed it yesterday.
Yes.
And at the combine, there's depth there. We know the receivers are deep. So I mean, yeah, if you get your Justin Fields and say unless you just have your heart set on a Dallas Turner or pick your guy at 8, and you think you can be fine moving back a couple of spots, dude, I wouldn't be surprised to see it at all because
Yeah.
again, you got that's options you have to explore, especially if you're 100% in on one of those guys.
Hmm. Very, very valid. So we're gonna switch gears now. This is what we're coming off of now, man. Appreciate everybody that has something to say in the chat. The chat is very active this evening. Uncle Steve Lounge is in the building. Michael is in the house. Christy Lewis is in the building. Oh man, so many of y'all, man. Smitty again bullshitting in the chat there, like always. Timothy Davidson, David R. I love it, man. Let's see. Let's get it. GA is in the house as well, man. So appreciate everybody chiming in and tuning in this evening, man. This is Atlanta Falcons podcast, 95 North Falcons talk show, out of your Falcon mind. So this, you mentioned defense. Let's talk about the defense, my friend. Right? I
Let's
think
do it.
that thus far, the Atlanta Falcons community, yeah, sure, why not? I'm allowed to say that. The Atlanta Falcons community has been so hell bent on getting this quarterback position right via through their opinions and facts and just throwing what they believe it could be, of
Hmm.
worth. And that's
Hmm.
fine. All
Yeah.
opinions are respected.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Can't lose sight of what the Atlanta Falcons did in just a one calendar year, last year with Ryan Nielsen directing the defense, right?
Hmm.
This is a defense that finished 11th in total defense, fourth in red zone defense, third and third down defense. Only allowed the opposing offenses to convert on 33% of those opportunities and 42 sacks. Right? We move
Yep.
back now to a 3-4 back. Same alignment that we had with when Dean Pease was given this defense, and now we have better pieces in place. But what happened again? We have a new defensive coordinator and first year play caller, Jimmy Lake, who comes from the Rams as an assistant head coach, follows Raheem Morris to the Atlanta Falcons. Some holdovers from last year's regime, Dave Huxtable, the all important Jerry Gray. And Jerry Gray gets an assistant from Green Bay to reunite with him to, the guy, the secondary. Can't remember his first name, but his last name is Coach Hood. I'll just name him as that.
There you go.
So it's really important for us not to lose sight, because with all this offensive talk, we can't allow the defense to fall by the wayside. We got to build on what Atlanta was able to do last year. 42 sacks. When's the last time you can honestly say that the Falcons finished in the plus 40 sack range, not even in the Dan Quinn years.
No,
And
dude.
Dan Quinn was known as this, fast and physical. I know that's the name that's being thrown around again. But that's, hey,
All
listen,
gas, no
we'll
breaks.
leave that there. Oh God, and brotherhood. No, chill.
Yeah,
I
no.
hope we don't go back to that, man.
You can just type. You can just Google Dan Quinn quotes, and all a bunch of shit comes up, dude.
Jesus, man, it's
Yeah.
definitely, man, it all comes, man. But definitely, you got to go back to 2004 and see that the Falcons, the last time that they finished with 40 plus sacks was in that year, 2004. They finished with 49.
Golly.
So it's been 20 years. We
Dude.
have to maintain that integrity on defense.
Yeah.
This combine offered you some prospects that can come in. I know that, quarterback aside, free agency is next week. There's some names out there that could be plug and play for the Atlanta Falcons, but this is also in certain areas a very rich, if I might use that word, and rich defensive line group, cornerback group, secondary group. So from your sightings from the combine this past week, are there any guys that kind of like stick out to you as possible Falcons draft picks in this year's draft?
Yeah, dude. Like there's a lot. I mean, Quinyon Mitchell destroyed
Oh,
the freaking. I mean, I would take him in a heartbeat at corner. He may be
out of
corner
Toledo.
one. Yeah, I'll tell you.
Yeah,
And look, I love my Bama guys. Love Terrion Arnold. Love Kool-Aid.
sure.
I'd be happy with those guys too. But Dallas Turner tested out of this
Oh,
world. His wingspan is longer than Kyle Pitts.
Kyle
It's
Pitts.
wider than Kyle
Yes.
Pitts. It's insane.
Wild.
Wild. I mean, I think he weighed in what 247s. Like, so I think, and everything I've been reading was basically his pro comp was Von Miller. That was his. So I mean, if that's the case, I'll take that all day long. I need to sign me up
Oh my
right
God, sign me up.
now. But but it's like man, it's like pass rushers are like quarterbacks, man. You really don't know until they get into the league how they're going
Yeah.
to be, because a lot of times in the college ball, man, they can win on one move. They're not facing. I mean, some of them are facing future NFL tackles and future, but I mean, a lot of them are not. They're not facing the future NFL tackles. So, they've got to refine that ability. So I like the guys that we have on our defensive staff to be able to improve that. But if you told me we were going to take him versus even Latu, I mean, I wouldn't be mad at any of them. I'd be fine with that. Even Chop Robinson, that dude tested out of this world too.
Surprisingly finished as one of the top edge rushers in the metrics, man. And this is a guy with 9.5 sacks combined in 2 years at Penn State.
Yep.
That's some things that teams will look like, are you really an edge rusher? Hold on, wait a minute. He's on the numbers.
He wins on speed alone. That's been his thing. Like,
that's what his thing
like
is.
He is so fast. Like, he is so fast off the block, dude. Like, I mean, like, as soon as it looks like he's almost offside sometimes, just watching some of the film, you're like, damn, like, he is so fast off the ball, and tackle doesn't have, like, Caleb McGarry's worst freaking nightmare is that guy right there.
Is that guy right
there.
there.
So like, let's just hope he didn't go to an NFC South team. But sorry, Caleb. I mean, so those guys, like you said, linebacker wasn't as depth as I guess as like some of the other positions are, but those guys, man, and safety, I do think we're going to replace Richie, and honestly, I'd like to see like a vet come in, and replace him there. I don't. That's a tough spot, like to be a rookie, and to expect it to perform well. So I'd like to see kind of like a, whether it's a Jordan Fuller, which would be ideal because the whole LA Rams freaking connection.
Of course.
But if it's not, I wouldn't mind seeing another vet that just fits that system in there pretty well. But those are the guys that stood out to me, man. I'm sure somebody else will come to mind, but those are the ones that are up there for me.
Yeah, Quinyon Mitchell, Toledo cornerback, 6 feet, 195 pounds, ran a 4.3. So I went back as far as the Senior Bowl, and before the Senior Bowl started, there was some questions about him. He came in highly regarded. We got to look at this kid, Mitchell out of Toledo, has the makeup size, to stand the test against these everyday wide receivers. And boy, did he ever! Shifty receivers, check mark. Tall physical receivers, pressed them. Sticky man to man, no problem.
Dude.
Blade the 40, it was unbelievable. This kid helped himself into that mid round, possibly getting drafted. But if he slips anywhere into the second round, I mean, I don't know, just wildly speaking here, I would love him in a Falcons uniform, man.
Dude, so smooth, dude. Like watching him, his hips are just like so fluid. It's like you
Yep.
don't even. It's his feet. I mean, just yeah, he was super impressive, man. For
Yeah.
not really seeing any Toledo games, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, I
right.
mean,
Yeah. No,
just
you don't see
yeah,
those at
you
all.
don't. I mean, so yeah, but just yeah, watch them on the field, man. You saw like, okay, I get why I get the hype. You know, yeah,
Yeah.
I understand it.
One guy that I'm just like kind of head over heels about. I mean, I have two draft crushes now. I mean,
I should mention
you know,
Byron Murphy too. I like Byron Murphy as well.
oh, Byron Murphy, the
Yeah,
second out of Texas. You know, him and
mhm,
his running partner Tavondre Sweat just formed.
yeah,
You know, just they were a wrecking crew in the middle of that Texas
mhm,
defense, man. The only knock on Murphy is the size. He's only 6'1", right?
right.
But everything else is there. You know, there's a 6'1" guy currently on the roster by the name of Grady Jarrett that,
Sure
you
is.
know,
Yeah,
made it work for himself. And there's also an all-pro in Los Angeles that just, you know, just makes a life out of just beating people to hell. There's another guy that fits the mold with both of those guys, as I just mentioned, and Brandon Frisk out of the Seminoles, man. 6'5",
what
294 points. It's 294 pounds. The 44, what do you run? A 4.74, 4.78,
monster?
man.
Yeah,
The 10-yard split, the shuffle, all comparable to Aaron Donald. What is a guy at 6'5" doing running those you know just those metrics, just being put in that same breath as Aaron Donald. It's unbelievable. But it is, for me, a position of need, right? You got David
yeah,
Onyema, you got Grady coming back, you know, from a major knee injury, as we all know that. But the depth behind it, really, you know, it's really it's struggling. It's
big
struggling
time.
right now. You know, we don't know what the hang up is with Taquan Graham. Is he coming or is he going? You know, and other than that, I can't even really tell you the backups, and that's an issue for me. So you got your two main guys, Ominyata and Grady, not your traditional 3-4 guys. You insert a guy like Brandon Frisk in the middle of that defense, allows you to now play with you know, play with the defensive line a little bit more. You can intertwine your Zach Harrisons, you know,
Mhm.
and and your Grady's at different positions. So Brandon Frisk for me, if the Falcons elected to trade out of the top 10, and you know, if somebody gets froggy enough to want to leave at 8, I wouldn't mind Brandon Fisk being the draft pick at one of those 15 to 16, 17, maybe. If we
Yeah,
trade back that far, I don't foresee that, but you know, weird things have happened in the NFL world. But Brandon Frisk really made a name for himself in
sure
this
did.
combine, man. He really did. Another guy that could be plug and play for the Atlanta Falcons too. I've mentioned him a lot. Is Brandon Dorlus, defensive tackle out of Oregon.
Yep.
6'3", 295 pounds. You know, they list him as edge, but if you go back and you see the Oregon tape, they used him up and down the line, defensive line. I've said this comparison before, man. He reminds me a lot of what Kobe Turner did for the Rams last year under Raheem Morris's defense. Kobe Turner was 6'2", 6'3", same size,
Yep.
and that was their nose tackle per se. And he had 5 sacks last year. Well, he just wreaked havoc. And Brandon Dolis can offer you that same, you know, just that same playmaking ability. So
Mhm.
that's another name to keep an eye out for, man. And yeah, sure, I might sound like, you know, it's very defensive line driven or heavy, but it just needs to be. We don't know also what's going on with Calais, so
Right.
it's like,
Yeah,
you
and
know,
we may you know, Lorenzo Carter may be cut, you know? I
we
mean,
don't know.
Bud Dupree,
And
who knows about that? I mean, we don't know.
and that's the scary thing, is not knowing where these guys are gonna end up. And you know, and within this week, there's gonna be some news coming out, as teams are gonna
Mhm.
be fighting, or with just our team in particular, gonna be fighting to get under the cap a little bit more, as we all saw last week. John Smith, the first cap casualty victim. Um, you know, there's probably more names to come. You just mentioned Zoe Carter might be one. Uh, you know, Mike Hughes might be another one. Taylor Heineke might be another one. So
Gone.
there's a
Yeah.
lot of moving parts that are going to happen within this week. But it's, you know, not out of the ordinary to think who can come in for the Falcons, regardless of what we do at the quarterback position. So defense has to be shored up, or just, you know, strengthened a little bit more. We can't lose the integrity that we had last year. Last year was, you know, it was amazing to watch those boys go to work the way that they did, man.
100%. Yeah, I mean, and they I don't think switching back to the 3-4 is that big a deal because we still have some holdovers from it. Ebiketie obviously was
Yeah.
drafted into that, and we might see D'Angelo Malone to get a shot because he was basically a special teamer last year. So that's not the biggest need probably if we're going to be in a 3-4 for any amount of time is going to be probably that big nose tackle type of guy. Like this, and in the middle there. But Animata could probably do it, but it's not. That's not his best. It's not suited well for that. Same thing with Grady. So I mean, I wouldn't be surprised to see him add that type of guy. But I mean, like you said, man, it's just you can't. We get so caught up in the quarterback. You cannot ignore like success we had because that. We have to keep that going this year and keep elevating. And watching, I've tried to go back. I've watched about 5 Rams games now. And dude, it's funny. Like their defense was so similar to ours. It was in the way that whole, and I hate to say it, but the whole bend don't break thing. Like
Yeah.
they would move. People would move the ball on them like down the field. They get in the red zone and they stop them. Like it was just like us. Like we let folks move the ball, but we would really just nut up in the freaking in the red zone and go and do our business. So it's very very similar. Hopefully, I'd love to see it more. Like not that if happen next year, but again, like as long as it's effective, fine. We'll go for it.
Absolutely, man. We got a quick question here from Smitty Sports Machine. Our boy Smitty. He says, "Give me a percentage of Grady Jarrett being released or
2%.
traded."
2%.
2% overall, or just?
I don't think they're getting rid of Grady or trading him. I think not only but having that relationship with Raheem, from the previous regime, but like just what he means overall to the defense. And like you said, we are. I mean, I understand his contract, but we are not high with veteran guys on that defensive line, and we can't have a room full of just completely young dudes. So I think having that dude and his work ethic and how he just conducts his business as a pro around any young guys, you gotta have him there. Now next year, maybe we'll see. Year 2 down the road, we'll see if he falls off or whatever. I mean, he wasn't having a stellar year last year before he got hurt. I mean, I thought he was going to be better than he was. To be honest with you, I thought Animata was going to be like that key to really unlock Grady, but it's kind of the other way. Like Grady was almost unlocking Animata in a way. Like it was like
It was
saw the reverse. Yeah. So I mean, I just don't see him moving off of him. I mean, that would surprise me a big time.
Yeah, I'll say I don't see him getting released or traded. Even what can a guy 31 years of age, coming off a major knee injury, really get you back as far as trade value? You know what I mean?
Right.
You're not going to upsell and say, oh, he's been to the Pro Bowl or he's had 3 sacks in the Super Bowl. You can't throw that at teams anymore.
No, they're going to say like, no, I want to see him go a season. I want to see him. Go the season, see what happens. Yeah, exactly.
Right. And they'll say, "What have you done for me lately?" Because that's what business is. Business is cutthroat. So I mean, I don't think he would net that much in the return. What I can see is a restructure, and I think this
100%.
is their last restructure, which would net them somewhere 5 or 6 million in cap space to gain in cap space. I think that's the route that they will go in. But I don't think you can release a pillar like Grady Jarrett in no way, man.
Nah. Agreed.
Yeah, there's another interesting name that has hit the market. Christian Wilkins on the market. What's good?
I'm on the phone right now.
Brother, he's gonna get paid.
He is, dude. He is.
Paid. I looked at in the year that he came out, it was Jovan Kinlaw, Christian Wilkins, and then there was Chris Lindstrom. I didn't know much about Chris Lindstrom.
Me either.
I knew more about Wilkins and Jovan Kinlaw than I knew about Wilkins. But Wilkins from year 2 on has been an animal in this league, man. He's probably the best defensive tackle in the league at this moment, man.
It blows up the middle, man.
Understand. He does, man. I don't understand why or how the Dolphins are going to let him go. I know the Dolphins are facing a lot of cap scrutiny right now. I think they're minus 51 million right now, so they have a lot of reworking to do and a lot of shuffling to do in their own right. But letting go of a guy like Christian Wilkins, oh my God, man! I don't know how you can bounce back from that. I don't know how that defense bounces back from that.
No, they don't have that kind of depth. That's not a guy you just plug and play somebody else. Doesn't happen that way. No.
Yeah, no, man. No. As William Amy says, Taylor Heineke is next.
I'm surprised he hadn't already gone.
But yeah, right, man. So any more questions, you guys go ahead. Feel free to drop him in there. Mr. Wallace Smith, I think they're going to bring in a safety that played with the Rams and Fuller or Johnson. Yeah,
Yeah, I can
that
definitely see that.
I could definitely see that. There's another kid in the draft. Excuse me. Well, yeah, in the draft and just finished the combine. Taylor Newbin out of Minnesota, man. 6'2", playmaking safety, man. 5 interceptions last year. Is just a ball hawk, man.
Mhm.
Um, I can see if the Falcons really want to build a tandem for the future, then that's a route that you're intrigued to go with. You know, having two physical ball hawking safeties in the back of your defense, go ahead and just patrolling that. Taylor Newbin fits the bill on that. And there's another kid I want to throw out there too. He comes out of the division of football FCS.
Mhm.
Uh, Jackson. No, I'm sorry, Jalix Hunt. This is a former safety turned edge defender. Let that
That's
sit
a
for a minute, dude. That
that's a
is a former safety converted to edge rusher,
what do
six
you go, like,
four,
full-time, like, McDonald's menu? What like, how do you fucking put on that much
bro.
weight? Like, I mean,
Amazing,
damn.
amazing transition, man. 6'4", 254 pounds, reign of 4.640, right?
I wanna see that
And
before and after.
seriously,
Like,
while in coverage, he only allowed a passer rating of 40%, man. This guy's all over the
wow.
place. He
That's
just needs the coaching to get this kid up to par, man, because he
mhm.
plays for a Division two, I think that is,
Yeah, yeah.
ranked Division two. So, but this is a kid that
That
round round
might
five,
scare you with
round
a Richie
six.
Grant.
No, man,
That's Central
Richie Grant's gonna
Florida.
be an afterthought. No,
I know, but that's it. It's like
yeah.
Central. Like I liked them coming out of Central Florida. I was like, but they don't play a lot, like super talented there. But I liked what I saw. Then like, you saw flashes, but just never really, fully transitioned.
Oh man, here's one right here. Davison. Does Timmy Horn stay or is he released? Timothy Horn left in the middle of the season. He was signed
Yeah,
by the New York
Giants,
Giants.
right? Yeah.
But it's a guy that could possibly see himself back in
Hmm.
Atlanta at an all important position of nose tackle. RJATL for life asks, what positions do you guys think the Falcons will double dip on in this draft? It's a good question.
Hmm. I could see D line as one of them.
Hmm.
Wouldn't surprise me. Kind of an outside guy, inside guy type of thing. Ma- Secondary, because I mean, again, unless it depends. I mean, and free agency is going to tell us a lot more about how this draft may shake out. Like I haven't even done a mock draft yet, dude, because I,
Yeah.
I just want to wait. I want to wait and see what we do in free agency. Because if we go, for example, go grab I don't know Akella Witherspoon from the Rams, to play CB2. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so at
Possibility.
that point, maybe we go, we draft CB later in the draft. Who knows? But I mean, that'll tell us a lot. But I wouldn't be shocked to see wide receiver early, maybe even late, because again,
Yep.
that room has just got Drake London in it, man. I mean, there's some decent free agents. I went through the free agent list on one of the videos I did, and there's
Hmm.
a bunch of them out there. I mean, some are expensive, some are not. Like it's um, there's a few. Actually, I wouldn't mind adding like at least a singular free agent wide receiver and then double dipping in
Yeah.
the draft. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
yeah, that wouldn't shock me at all.
Yeah, I think I'll stick to the defensive line
Yeah.
position, to really, bring up and the defensive line coach, Jay Rogers, he came out and he mentioned, they want big, nasty guys, physical guys, to play along this defensive line. So when you think of things like that, there's a lot of great free agents that are going to be out there and available.
Hmm.
Justin Matabuke out of Baltimore. I don't think he even smells the free agency. I think they're going to just tag him.
Me
Leonard
either. That'd
Williams
be a
is another
dream, though.
intriguing name from
Yeah.
Seattle that could potentially make his way. Big Cat Williams, as we all know, was a dominant force for USC back in his day. He did his thing on in many years on that New York Jets defensive line. Now he's in Seattle. Could be a possibility, but you have guys like Brandon Dorlus that are right there, Tavondre Sweat,
Yep.
uh, Jahir Newton out of Illinois. That's another guy
Hmm.
that he fits the bill as a pass rusher and a run stopper. So you get the best of both worlds with him. Brandon Frisk is another guy. So I think there's safer routes that you can go in this draft. You can definitely come away with at least two of them,
Yeah,
at
yeah,
least two of
yeah.
them.
I,
Just
I
for depth's sake.
Yeah, and I mean, doing that, looking at some of the edges that were out there too, like low key, really like Bryce Huff out of New York,
Yeah,
because I mean he was basically a situational pass rusher there for the most part, but dude, the guy's win rate was higher than Micah Parsons.
Micah Parsons. Yep,
And
saw that
I
too.
mean, and watching him play, like and reading about him, like a lot of NFL folks think he can be more than just that situational type guy. Like
Hmm.
he's was undrafted. I mean,
Hmm.
a rock on his shoulder, man. Like he's got something to prove. Jets probably aren't going to pay him again.
Hmm.
Well, pay him to begin with because I mean, like he's going to want to get paid something a little bit more than what he has been. But I think you add somebody like him, maybe cut Lorenzo, save some money, draft an
Yeah,
edge, then come back and, like you said, double dip it later on. Yeah, I can see that
yeah,
happening.
yeah.
Yeah,
I'm dying for a Leonard Floyd reunion
me
with
too. Oh, me
Morris.
too. Me
I'm
too.
dying for that one, man. The guy he's still productive. 10 and a half
Was he
sacks.
10 sacks?
It's
Yeah, 10
legendary.
exactly. Yeah, dude, out in a
Yep.
heartbeat.
In a heartbeat, sign him up. Got another question here from April Thomas. Thank you for joining the stream tonight, man. Really appreciate it and appreciate your questions. Do you think the Atlanta Falcons will sign Burns in free agency? Whoo! We can only wish. We can only wish to sign Brian Burns, man. Um, I don't see how he gets out of the grasp of Carolina. I don't see how Carolina will allow him to hit free agency whatsoever, man.
You saw they said that they were stalling talks for now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
I
saw that.
I don't yeah, I don't know, man. I agree. I don't know why they let him, but at the same time, like you should have done this deal 2 years ago. Like,
Absolutely.
I mean,
Yep.
or at the very least, when the Rams offered you 2
Yep.
first, I mean, like at
For
least do that because
yep.
like now you could use those 2 first round picks because you are an ass team right now. You got nobody like on
No.
other than Bryce and nobody to throw to. You know what I mean? And no
Mhm.
running backs. The offensive line sucks. But yeah, I wish we could, man. I love Brian Burns. I would love it, but I don't see it. But I would love it. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he screams off the edge and, just his physicality. He's a good run
Hmm.
stopper. Yeah, I mean, we seen him up close and personal how he just moves the
Unfortunately,
game,
yeah.
you know? And I'd rather have that on our side ruining Carolina twice a year than him being on that
Yeah.
opposite side still,
In the
man.
very least, I'd rather it's like you can go to AFC or something like that. Like,
Yeah.
you
Get
get
him the fuck out of here.
get him out of the NFC South,
Yeah, man. And watch, he'll end up with like the Kansas City Chiefs or Baltimore because they just
dude.
go through defensive ends. It's crazy, man.
Yeah.
Crazy. Wallace comes in with the question, man. He says, "What do y'all think about getting Sweat from Texas in the second round to plug the middle at nose tackle, not 3-4 defense?" Listen, he's dude, what 6'3", 360 pounds.
Yeah.
Grady Jackson-esque. Why
Basically, yeah.
not? And the guy offers a little bit as a pass rusher too. You know what I mean? He's not afraid to break a sweat and hustle. Why sign me up, man? Why not? Yeah.
Yeah, I
And
wouldn't
that's
hate it.
that's probably the
Yeah.
going rate for him too, a second rounder.
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't hate he didn't I mean, he's a big guy. He's not gonna test super athletically, but like his RAS score wasn't very good. But
Mhm.
like yeah, as long as you don't expect him to be on there as a 3 down guy. You know what I mean? You expect him
Mhm.
to be on there first down, middle of your 3-4, if that's what you're setting up as, and basically maybe 2 snaps, per series, essentially is what you're hoping for. I mean, the size worries me a little bit because you see the guys like that and Jordan Davis, are just not on the field that much, but I would get it if you're gonna take him in the second round. Like I understand. I'd be fine with that. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Travis Preston comes in and says, "What do you guys think of Iowa defensive back Cooper DeJean? Can play cornerback or safety, but is coming off a broken fibula, 6'1", 207 pounds."
That's me,
So
man. That's me.
yes,
I'm 6'1",
yep.
207. I'm ready to rock,
Yep.
man.
I ain't gonna release my credentials because I might be the first overall pick, but I don't want to. You're my guest. I'm not gonna do that. Come on.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
Uh,
right. A nose tackle has never gone first overall. Let's
you
just
get no nose tackle. You're at least a 3 tech, buddy. At least a three
you
tech.
got that right. Oh man, but
But
yeah, Cooper
he's
Cooper DeJean, super versatile.
yeah,
Reminds me of he's at a stage in his career right now where you remember Jeff Heath that played
yeah,
safety for the Dallas Cowboys.
yep,
I thought
sure.
Jeff Heath would have been that next great safety in the NFL. And I think coaching did him an amazing disservice to
Yeah.
not really get that kid going in the right direction. Cooper DeJean offers those same traits, but I think he's a little bit more elite. He tracks the ball very well. He's a physical, physical player overall.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, yes, the broken fibula, but he has the desirable size for a defensive back. His stock may fall because of that. So let that stock fall to the third round. Dare I say, why not? Why not take a flyer on
He's
him?
a physical freak, man. Like,
Yeah.
I think, his ceiling is probably a more athletic Harrison Smith. Like,
Mhm.
and Harrison Smith, hell of a career. You know what I mean?
Heck yeah, man.
But but the dude's more freakishly athletic than Harrison Smith
Yeah.
is. Like, so
Yeah.
yeah, and he said at the combine he's down to play corner, safety, wherever they want him to play. I'll
Wherever
play
they want him
wherever.
to
I'm
play.
like, dude, if you want to be that versatile, come on, man. I'm down. Yeah,
Hell yeah, man. I love that attitude too, man.
absolutely.
Love it,
Yeah.
man. Justin Swisher Sweets is in the house. He says, going to be hard to replace Bud, Calais, and Landman. Do you see the defense taking a step back this year? That is the fear that we're trying to really, come to grip with and add to it so we don't suffer from that, taking a step backwards. But let me say this. Landman, I don't think goes anywhere. I
Nope.
think if I'm not mistaken, the Falcons can slap the exclusive rights free agent tag on him, making him, making teams if they want to get him, they would have to give up a second round or something like that.
Mhm.
If he's allowed that, because he's undrafted, so I don't know how that really falls.
Yeah,
But
me
if
either.
it's kind of what I think they did it to Ryan Neal a couple years ago, the same way.
Mhm.
They tagged him with something. Somebody from the Falcons got tagged in some way due to them being an unrestricted signing or
Yeah.
undrafted signee. Landman might fall under that same bill, but Landman definitely deserves a raise. I don't see the Falcons letting him go. These two other guys, man, these are wild cards, man. Calais could basically leave Atlanta due to retirement, man. Even though
Yeah.
he still has something left in the tank, he might want to call it quits. Bud Dupree, as he goes back into his 3-4 roots. Um, he can come back on a vet minimum. So the only one I would really worry about losing here is possibly Calais Campbell. But maybe I don't see Landman going anywhere. And I think Bud, they'll probably, sweeten the deal that he signed last year over
Yeah.
onto this year, man, just so he can make some more money.
Yeah,
Uh,
that doesn't surprise me. I wouldn't be surprised at all. And then you got to think. I mean, look, Troy Anderson's coming back off of injury.
mhm,
And is this? I mean, I know Lemon played well, but I mean, Troy's still a
mhm.
very much higher ceiling as if he reaches his peak. Because I mean, he's somebody you can't really put Landman in coverage and be like super
No,
comfortable with that. That's his biggest
right.
weakness. So I mean, he can
Sure
run
is.
stop all day long, but I mean, you
Yep.
don't want him covering down the field. That's where you want kind of if that's going to be Troy's role, that's where you want him to shine.
Yeah. Smitty says Jalen Polk is one of my biggest sleepers in this draft. Dude, started watching film on Jalen Polk about a month ago, and I put it up on Twitter, and it got good. It got a lot. I got a lot of traction on it. Got a lot of good responses from it. Washington
Mhm.
had an amazing trio of wide receivers last year.
They did,
Any
man.
one of them could have killed you. And this
Yep.
guy, yeah, Jalen Polk is another guy, man. Jalen Polk could go possibly in the third round. And that all depends because these guys start going before it's their time due to the run on wide receivers. One team takes a wide receiver and there's the run. Everybody starts taking them. They start falling in line. So you would pray for some guy like that to fall into those later rounds, man.
Mhm.
Let's see. Chris says Christian Boyd is a late round nose tackle. I think could be a steal from Northern Iowa. I got to do a little bit more research on him, but I have heard his name and I've heard a lot of good things about him. David R says, is a Calvin Ridley reunion in store for the Falcons? I will not hate that if that happens.
I would hate it. I doubt it, but I wouldn't hate it.
I wouldn't hate it at all. We
Mm-mm.
got a third already from it, and plus get him back.
Welcome back.
Sweet, welcome
Exactly.
back, kid.
Exactly. Let me see your phone now. Let me make sure there's
Yeah,
no apps on there. We're good.
absolutely, absolutely, man. Let's see. Mr. Wallace says, "What do y'all think about getting Huff to replace Carter at outside linebacker? The Jets in free agency." Yeah, I think John just
I'm
referred
down.
to him as that.
Yeah.
Yeah, for Huff. Jonathan Grenard, also from the Houston Texans, is another name to watch to look out for too. Played
Hmm.
opposite side Will Anderson Jr. last year for the
They'd be
Texans.
so stupid to let him go. That guy was so
Yeah,
good
no.
last year. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Dupree's a free agent. New setup. Oh man, one time for the fan. What's going on, Jack
What's on,
Spade?
Jack?
What's happening, brother? Yeah, it's a new little setup, man. Just still tweaking it, man. Gonna add more things as time goes on, man. But appreciate you joining the stream and commenting tonight, man. Let's see. What do y'all think about drafting wide receiver Worthy? For those that
Also
don't,
down.
oh my God, Xavier
Also down.
Worthy was the talk of the town on what was it, Sunday, Saturday, or Sunday that he just
Sunday,
Saturday?
right? No, Saturday. Yeah, Saturday. Saturday.
S-
Yeah.
Somebody, yeah, one of those days, man. 4.21 broke the record. Only thing I don't like about Worthy is his makeup. His
Right.
build.
Right.
Very comparable to Devontae Smith from the Eagles.
Hmm.
Yes, I'm sure you know him a lot about him being a Bama boy and stuff
Quite a
like
bit.
that.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Good
So,
time. Yep.
I'm afraid of, one hit and done, one physical hit and being done. That's the only thing with him, man. But nonetheless, all the talent in the world, man, and
Yeah.
deserving of a first round pick, sure, why not? I just don't think by our Falcons, man.
Yeah, not in the first. No, if he by
Yeah.
chance fell, maybe, but yeah, because I've been dying to get speed at receiver for so long, dude. Like Arthur's passionate love for freaking big guys is great, but we
Mhm.
got to get
Mhm.
some speed, dude. Like I'll watch the Dolphins and be so jealous, man. Like they got speed everywhere on that team, but
Are we getting breaking news from our good friend Jack Spade at one time for the fan? Kirk
depends on
moving
the
to
source, buddy.
Atlanta.
Depends on the source.
I don't know, man.
Y'all know how I
Don't
feel about
know.
sources.
Oh man. Kenneth Hardman says, I like Marshawn Nealon, could be a sleeper pick, or if one of
Yeah,
those big OTs fall to us in the second round. For as far as the offensive tackles, man, Tyler Guyton from what's the damn school? Oklahoma is
Oklahoma.
my
Yeah, yeah, yep,
would
yep,
yeah,
yep.
would probably be my guy. That guy has some outstanding measurables and traits, man. Um, for right tackle, I think you can bring him in and he could probably compete right away with Mr. McGarry there.
Yeah, I'd be kind of surprised if we didn't get some offensive line this year because it's really damn deep, and there's some
It's
really
deep.
talented guys you can get later, even if you don't go earlier. Because, like you said, I mean, we know what Caleb is. Like he's a
Mhm.
really good run blocker. He is a not very good at all pass protector. So, I mean, if you want your new quarterback, whoever it is, to be upright, that's we got to address that at some point.
Yeah. Travis Preston says it's not Falcon related, but let's show a little love to Sting, who retired last night but left his footprint here in Atlanta. Very true. Sting is the original WCW wrestler, man. Retired last night for AEW, and his final matchup in AEW Revolution in a tag match with him and Darby Allin versus the Young Bucks. And Sting retired a champion. So congratulations to Sting and his decorated career. I think he was pushing 60 years old, but still performing
Crazy,
at a high level, man. So shout out to
crazy.
Sting, man. Shout out, shout
You
out,
know, his
shout.
son played tight end at Kentucky.
I have no idea.
Yeah,
God
his
damn
son
it.
played 2015, I think. He went to the combine actually, but I don't think he. I
What?
don't. Yeah, you have to look it up. Steve Borden's son. I can't remember his
No
name, but he.
shit.
Yeah, he
Mhm.
actually. I don't think he may have had a cup of coffee with somebody, but
Oh
yeah,
man.
kind of looks like him. You can see it in his face. He's more obviously bulkier, but yeah, yeah.
Bulkier.
Hmm.
Yeah, all right. One more. Let me take a question or two more before we head out of here, man.
Yeah, man.
Take this one here from Bags. He says, "Do y'all see Fields in the same Lamar Jackson pedigree? I think he is. He needs a team to embrace him and give him some real talent, which he has here in Atlanta. He has an even better arm than that of Jackson, and legs are just as good. Hey, that's a first being compared to Lamar. I would have left the Lamar comparison probably to Jaden Daniels, but if you feel like Justin Fields fits that bill, why not? Why not? In terms of running, sure. As far as arm strength, yeah, I can see that. Justin Fields does have a very active arm. And as far as the skill set receivers here, yeah, it's an uprising core. with whatever we add in either free agency in the wide receiver or we draft, Atlanta has has is going to have some tools for his disposal, man, at his disposal.
Yeah, 100%, man. I like I said, I wouldn't be. Can you hear Kane like going insane downstairs right now? Can you hear that? No.
I something in the background, yeah, but nothing
Okay.
major.
Yeah, it's freaking puppy, man. Anyway, yeah, I can see yeah, I can see the comparison. I mean, as far as that, as far yeah, not having anything around him, clearly he hasn't. Um, like I said, I've seen things on Twitter where folks will post like one play and like, see, he can't do that. Like, see, I told you he can't do that. And that, you can do that for literally any player in the NFL. You can pick a clip, good or bad,
Mhm.
and put that on and say and try to prove your point that way. And it's just not a very good way to do it. I mean, it's just like he's gonna. You can't talk about the quarterback without talking about what's around him. You just can't.
Yeah,
Like
you
it's
just
just
can't.
bottom line. I mean, who's his offensive line? Is he kept
Mhm.
upright? Does he have time to throw? Like all that stuff. So we saw our own Matt Ryan, dude. When the offensive line started going downhill, the dude was seeing ghosts every week.
Yeah,
He was getting rid of the ball too early, or he was just sometimes falling to the ground without even being touched because he was expecting to get hammered. Like so that happens. But yeah, I could see him excelling with the better squad around him. Like he's not.
yeah,
Has he missed? Oh yeah, has he missed some reads? 100%. Like
100%.
and
Yeah,
but you can also throw on tape where like, damn, that's a hell of a throw. He just put a dime on that one, or he read this really well, or he anticipated that throw really well. Like it kind of you got to go both ways if you're going to be fair about it. You know what I mean? So,
true.
yeah, so I could see that, man. I got no problem with it if that's the way they want it. Like I said, we've already talked about the pros and cons. It's the
Yeah, right.
he's you're betting on potential that he continues to improve on what you saw last year in a Zach Robinson offense, and that you're not going to go quarterback at all in the draft. That's essentially what you're saying. I'd be surprised if they did. If they that'd be a shock.
Yeah. Oh man, but buddy, all good things must come to an end, man. We
Damn,
went over the 1 hour mark, man. This was so much fun, man. Again, man, I appreciate you taking the time out of your busy Monday and as the start of the week, man. Mondays are
absolutely,
so
man.
heavy, man. But thank you so much for jumping on with me, man. Please let the
Of
folks
course.
know where they can find you and plug in your credentials as far as your social media outlets, please.
Yeah, man. Y'all can follow us on Twitter. I'm not on there as much this last couple weeks. Like like I said, I don't get involved too much of the hype because we see it every year. So like I don't again, like I make fun of like the sources and stuff like that because everybody's got a source and everybody's trying to be first. Nobody really cares about being right anymore. So like that's kind of like the deal. So, but you can follow us on Twitter either way. Out of your effing mind on Twitter. You can follow Mike basically on TikTok. Out of your Falcon Mind on TikTok. Out of your Falcon Mind on Instagram, and you can email us if you have an email. atlfalconfancast@gmail.com, and we'll be back on this week. Is this week? Yeah, 7:30 this week, back our regular time. And then next week will be Thursday. And then the week after that, we're actually going to switch to Tuesdays at like 8 o'clock because my kid's baseball coach decided to throw another practice on the week. So we now have practices on Thursdays, which kind of screws up the whole show thing. So yeah, so Tuesdays, 8 o'clock. Or 8:30, we'll figure it out. We'll be going live at least during the off season. Then we'll see what the regular season comes up. But you'll see more stuff with Berto and us again. We'll pick
Of
back up
course.
the 95 North, me 75 South again very
Oh
soon.
yeah, very soon.
And get that going again. But yeah, man, I'm always happy to come on, dude. Anytime you want me to be on with you, I'll be there. So,
Of course.
and like I said, shout out to Mike, who's somewhere in South Carolina, probably enjoying a nice,
Yeah.
we'll say dinner. He's enjoying a nice dinner.
With some sweet iced tea.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh man, but yeah, been a hell of a night. Thank you to everybody in the chat that came through, dropped their acknowledgement, dropped their comments, man. Really appreciate everybody. We apologize if we didn't engage with you guys enough, but we definitely will the next time around. As the 95 North Falcons Talk Show platform, I like to listen to everybody's perspective and respectfully, agree to disagree with what needs to be said, and we can and that's fine. That's a good healthy way to just interact with the chat and
Oh yeah,
everybody
yeah. I
else.
mean,
You know what I
it's
mean? So I love it. So
yeah,
many people have so many great things to say. It makes you even think like, oh wow, I could have thought about it that way too. So
dude. Yeah,
that's what you look
yeah.
for. That's
Like
exactly what you look for.
I got no issue at all. Anybody wants to come to ours, and you know it. I mean, anybody wants to come to our show, have an opinion, that's fine. The
Yeah,
only thing that one thing that gets you blocked is like the guy that called me and Savion racist twice
yeah, man. That shit's not
for
called for, dude.
for for thinking that Justin Fields had a higher ceiling than Desmond Ritter. That was racist somehow. So that's the only thing that gets you
I don't
blocked on
know.
our channel, is to be doing some stupid shit like that. But if you have an actual opinion about it, that's I don't know, relevant,
Yeah,
then of course, yeah, dude, absolutely. Because I mean, none of us know for sure. We're just all like anybody else, man. We're just taking our best guess on what's going to happen, and go from there, man. And oh, I should say, we are too shy of 1,500 subscribers, man. So if y'all haven't
let's
subscribed now to
go,
your Falcon
man.
Mind, and you would like to, then hey, we would much appreciate to get to 1,500. That'd be nice.
Yep. Oh, got to give a quick shout out here to Miss B.
What's going on, Miss B?
Man, she just recently started up a podcast too.
Mm-hmm.
Please, man, please, please. I'm gonna wait for you, Miss B. If you're still watching, please plug in your channel, man, so the folks that follow myself or John and Out of Your Falcon Mind can go and show Miss B some love and get her her accounts up, man. I know I saw her like 2 of her videos, man. Some great insights, man, on free agents and things like that. So look, a woman giving her perspective, man. That's a beautiful thing
Love
to
it.
see, man.
Love
Different
it.
perspectives, so many different perspectives, man. But yes, as I mentioned, man, that comes to the show comes to an end. I'll give my credentials now. So this is your boy Berto, your host of the 95 North Falcons Talk Show. That's the platform on YouTube. If you haven't been to the page, please, please, please go ahead and visit and hit that subscribe button. And please comment on any of the videos that I have, and let's get a running conversation going. I love to chop it up with everybody, man. You can find me on Bleacher Report, man. Bleacher Report. I'll be back on later on in March, man. Dropping some more content for the Bleacher Report team for the Atlanta Falcons. I'm on Instagram now as well, on IG under Berto95 North, and on Twitter under RI Falcons, another platform that we go ahead and chop it up with this wonderful crew of Falcon faithfuls, man. So I appreciate everybody for their time. I will give everybody their Monday night back. My brother Jack Spade is in the chat. Let's get it, Berto. Shout out to One Time for the Fan. I need to get them on with me, man. And so we could chop it up. It'll get real lively. I know we'll probably talk some rap, some fashion, talk about that new Gunner song and how it had me tearing up. But
Probably
that's
some country music, and yeah,
we could
right.
we could go ahead. Jack is an avid country music connoisseur himself. He's probably thinking, "What the fuck, bro? That's cat."
Yeah.
Yes, and here's the link. Thank you, Ms. B, for putting that on. Link is right there in the description. But yeah, please, hopefully you guys can cut and paste it, man. Go ahead and follow Ms. B. Give her a subscription, man. Yeah. So another wonderful mind in this crazy Falcon content community world, man. But much needed and much appreciated. As Jack goes on to say, love country music. But brother, we gotta get out of here, man. This is it for your Monday night. We will see you soon, man. Peace.